Yo, 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 what's going on? It's your boy Skiiwalker the Jedi back at y'all with another edition of the Sit Down with Skiiwalker the Jedi. And we have the one and only A Pass joining us today. Thank you so much for being here, A Pass. We've been trying to get this done for a little bit, but both of our schedules wasn't really matching. But we're finally here now, and I'm so grateful to be able to have this conversation with you. So, how are you feeling being here today, A Pass?
Oh, I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this and it's been a while since I've been on, so I'm glad to be having this conversation. That's for
Absolutely,
sure.
absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. I've been so much looking forward to having you back on the platform because I feel that you've always offered a unique perspective and you've done uh, so much in terms of like effort and time that you've been pouring into this movement and this community. So I just kind of wanted to give the people a little bit of a peek into you and who you are just as a person. So uh
Ooh,
how do you feel about that?
yeah. Like I said to you backstage, I don't know how interesting I'll be, but I'll definitely, I'll try.
Right.
So,
Look,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that you got some interesting stuff that you've been through. So let's start with where are you from, A Pass?
Yeah.
Let the people know about your stomping grounds and the area in which you grew up.
So, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Very much like sports-oriented town, even though recently, all of our teams have been not that great. But,
Y'all
yeah,
need a new quarterback. You know what I'm saying? You got to
right.
need a new quarterback.
I think we need yeah, they just need to be more in sync with each other. But yeah, like definitely agree with that. But yeah, I mean, just very much like uh very family oriented city and all that jazz. um, but and also very like artistically and culturally unique too. A lot of movies have been filmed here, including The Dark Knight Rises.
Right?
So, right, yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. But like my brother, actually, he worked as like a PA on that movie. Um,
Mm.
got like he actually took a picture on the the cycle, the motorcycle. What do you call it? I'm like blanking on the name. The
The Bat Pod, the little
yes,
motorcycle that Batman had.
yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'll send it to you actually because it's like crazy. Um, but yeah, and then he also heard like Christian Bale's like trying to get into character with his voice in the Batman costume, and he was like, "Oh my god, what is my life? I'm just like watching this happening." But
Right?
yeah,
He's
crazy.
like, he would never give it to an ordinary citizen. Yo, I love The
Crazy.
Dark Knight Rises. That is one of the worst lines I've ever heard from a Batman ever. He would
Yeah,
never give it to an ordinary citizen. If I would have heard him doing that, I'd have been like, bro, I think you might need to tighten that up a little bit. Nah, shouts out to Christian Bale though. You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, including like, well, I know you haven't talked about the Joe Rogan interview yet, but how Zach took a little shot at his height.
Hey, Zach told no lies though.
No, I agree. Like he was way like 100% telling the truth about
He was like, yo, he's
everything.
5'10". He was
Yeah.
like, he's 5'10". You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, not to be rude, but he's 5'10". Yeah, that was something else. But anyway, yeah. um, that line was very. I feel like the whole. I mean, I think it's obvious, like with Heath Ledger, like unfortunately passing away.
mhm.
That I feel like that would have changed that movie, even though I like it as it is. But I
Oh,
just feel like it would have,
absolutely.
you know, been totally different. But
Absolutely. Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, I believe that he, at least from what I understand, was supposed to be in that scarecrow role at the end, like where
Yeah.
he was playing the judge. I mean, that'd have been crazy having a Joker judge. Oh my God. Like,
Could you
yo,
imagine?
that just gave me a chill. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know, like crazy. That would have been so insane. Yeah.
Right.
Oof. Yeah. R.I.P. But yeah.
Absolutely. Yo, so you were speaking about Pittsburgh, and
Mhm.
from the outside looking in, it seems like a very like blue collar city, right?
Yes.
Um
Yes.
and with that being said, what like how did that kind of impact you growing up and your values, would you say?
Oh, it impacted like everything because like everybody that I grew up with and like family and friends were like kind of all in
Hmm.
like that middle class um area. So we all
Hmm.
like understood each other's uh struggles with that could happen within the middle class and all that. Especially like being lower middle class or something like that. So yeah, it affected everything. Work ethic and how you see like your perspective on life too. Um,
Hmm.
like knowing that you could have it way worse and also like how there's like people that have it way better as well. Like
Yes.
just like having that sort of thing.
Right.
But yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Do you think that growing up there impacted you as like a film fan at all, and like what type of movies that you were drawn to, or like would you say that that wasn't the case?
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, if anything, I would say it would have been my my parents and also my grandfather. Like
Mm,
they're they were all just big movie fans.
mm,
Um, and my grandfather, he introduced me to a lot of like the older films, like the black and white, like classic movies, and
mm.
especially those Universal monster movies, and I hated them. Like I just was like always so terrified. But he was like,
uh,
"It's time to watch another one," and I'm like, "Let's not. I'm gonna go upstairs. I can't." But yeah, I definitely think it was mostly like my family that influenced that, and my also my older brothers too, like, they were just always on, like, with Star Wars, um,
mhm,
Lord of the Rings. Oh my god, that was,
mhm.
like, everything when I was growing up, like, that's
Right.
all anyone talked about, and then, um, there was probably more than I'm, like, not remembering, but, uh, definitely I would give credit to my family for the whole interest and love of film in general. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
What did little A Pass enjoy watching, right? Because you said that you wasn't really into the Universal monster movies, but what were you
Oh.
into back ar- around that time?
Um, I honestly like I loved Star Wars and I loved
Mm,
anything kind of like fantasy oriented. I also loved um animation to the
hmm.
point where I thought I wanted to become an animator when I was
Mm.
like 7 or 8. Um
Right.
but but yeah. Um yeah, like Star Wars I was like obsessed and then I also loved the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies and um the Batman animated series, Justice League
Mm.
animated series, like, I don't know, like, I was very much, uh I wasn't picky with what I was watching, if that makes sense. I would just,
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
absorb anything at that
Just not the
point.
Universal monster movies, right? She's like,
Just
no, no
not
more
that.
those, right?
Like, anything that was, like, scary, no, but, like, everything else was fine, just not
She
the horror
said,
stuff.
No Vincent Price, right? None of
No,
that stuff. You know what
no,
I'm
no,
saying?
thank you. No, thank you.
Right.
No. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Oh my god, I love Empire Strikes Back. I know everyone says that, but
Mm,
that's honestly, I love that movie.
I
That
don't
movie.
say that. That's not my favorite. You know
Oh
what I'm saying?
really?
It is
Okay.
not. No, mine is Return of the Jedi.
That's good too,
Yeah.
though. That's good too. Like it's hard to.
Hey.
It's sometimes hard to pick, but like I always go back to Empire Strikes Back. Um,
Mhm.
and then I didn't like how much hate the prequels got. Like I still don't. I think people are starting to come around. Um, but
I have a theory on that too. Yeah.
ooh, tell me. I want to know.
Look, I think that we are experiencing now what the older generation felt when the prequels came out,
That
right?
makes sense.
Because the prequels were very much aimed towards kids,
Right.
right? And I was a bit younger when the prequels came out, right? And I mean, I didn't really like episode one too much. I thought it was kind of boring.
Mm,
And it was really just that fight at the end that really just saved that movie for me. And the pod racing scene. That's pretty much all that I was like really interested in with episode one.
right.
When episode two came out, it got better. And then when episode three came out, I was like, yo, this is like the best one out of all of the prequels. But that was at a
Agreed.
time when we were a bit younger. And even though I
Yeah.
was a Star Wars fan, I wasn't born when that first one came out, right?
Right.
Matter of fact, yeah, I don't know, I was born for him because the first one was what, 77. Yep, it
Mhm.
was 77, 80, and 83, right? Or 82.
83.
Uh,
I think it was 83.
e- yeah, so yep, that had already finished by the time I was born. I just
Mhm.
grew up watching those VHS tapes, right? And
Right.
so those prequels was the first time that I had like my own Star Wars, right? Um,
Right.
and so I think that now with what Disney did, they kind of went that same route, but it was just in a much worse way because they didn't
Yeah.
honor what came before. The prequels were honoring what came before, right?
Mm.
Disney
Mhm.
tried to just say, all right, screw the older base. We're just going to go after a newer one. And that just was not the right way to go. And so,
No.
so that's what I think happened with the prequels and why they were so hated back in the day. But it was probably just a bunch of older people like, this isn't my Star Wars. This is for kids. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know.
That's true. No, I agree with that theory for sure. I'm like seeing it with my younger cousins that are like elementary school age.
Mhm.
And they recently just got into Star Wars within the past like couple years, and they would ask me all these questions, just like, so what happens in how does Anakin become Darth Vader? Like, I want to know, and I'm like, I can't tell you that. Like, I really can't because I think my um aunt and uncle are kind of like they're like trepidatious with Revenge of the Sith. Um,
Mm.
but I tell them, I'm like, it's really, I mean, it's up to you, but at the same time, it's not that violent. Um, but yeah, like they've watched every single one except for episode
3.
3. Yeah. And they were telling me about like one of the boys in particular, they were like, "My favorite character is Kylo Ren." And I'm like, "Oh god, why out of
See,
all
see, see. It's like, yo,
I'm like,
see what I mean?
yeah, no,
Yo,
it
look,
makes sense. It makes sense,
tell
honestly.
tell tell their parents that I said if they can watch episode 9, they can watch episode 3, yo.
Facts.
Like if they can watch the sequel trilogy, no, they can definitely watch the prequels. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
the gold standard right there, right? The
I couldn't
George
agree
Lucas films gotta be watched,
Oh, yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more with that.
right?
But yeah, it goes back to that generational thing, like, sort of like, uh, the DC stuff as well, like, the Man of Steel and people being stuck on a certain version of a character, and it's you know, it it does need a it. I feel like the Disney one is slightly different though. Like you said, they totally just said
Yeah,
f off to the fan
yeah,
base, which DC
yeah.
now has done too. But
Right, yeah.
it's just
Star Wars, though, I kind of felt the disrespect in the theater. Like that one, I absolutely felt it. Like when that movie started and she handed Luke Skywalker, that lightsaber that had been in his family and all that, and was so important, and he just tossed it over his shoulder. I knew it was a wrap.
yeah, that when that happened, I remember I saw it with a group of friends, and they weren't necessarily like, I was the only Star Wars fan, um, and they recently with, like, Force Awakens, they were like, "Oh my god, this is so cool," and then they started watching, like, the older like, the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, um, so it didn't really hit them like it did me, but I remember
Yeah,
looking over at one of my friends and I'm like, "What the like, what was that? Like, that's totally going against
yeah.
Luke Skywalker's, like, character. Like, what are we doing here?"
Yeah,
Um,
that was one of the most butchered versions of a character I've ever seen in my life.
I
Absolutely.
I couldn't agree more with it's just like and even I should have known though with those interviews with Mark Hamill. Like, he was not
We
hiding it.
all should have, right? Because
No,
he was not hiding it at
not
all.
at all. Uh-uh. I felt bad for him, honestly. I was just like, "Oh my
He
god."
was
Like,
like,
poor guy.
I'm just so confused at how he sees Luke Skywalker. I was like, damn, like, in, in, in in hindsight, that is a crazy statement. Like,
Yeah.
can you picture somebody being on tour with Zach trying to promote a movie and they're like, I'm just so confused at how Zach saw Superman, right? And like when Henry's
Right.
saying that, right, like that would actually be a thing, but no, like Mark Hamill absolutely was shining that bat signal, like, hey guys,
This ain't it.
word. Like,
Yeah, you should be concerned. Yeah, like, oh my gosh. It's a
right,
travesty in a way. It really is, but
absolutely.
whew, Star Wars, man.
Right. So,
Yeah.
you were speaking about your love for animation earlier. What are like some animated things that you were into when you were younger?
Believe it or not, Looney Tunes. That for whatever reason, I don't know why if it was like, because like Cartoon Network was like airing all of like those cartoons or what, but I was just
Hmm.
like fascinated to the point where um my I would get like the box sets that they used to like have and they would have those
Hmm.
special features and they would show you how they animated them and I was just like fascinated by the process and that even goes back to like also like the Disney animated movies too like those VHSs at the end of the movie they'll just go into that like that special feature like
Yep.
documentary and
Yeah.
I would be more excited to watch that than the actual movie when I was a kid. I was like,
Oh my
"Just
goodness.
fast forward to the end. I need to see
Yeah.
how they made this." But, uh, yeah, I was just, like, really fascinated with that, and then also a lot of the Nickelodeon cartoons too, like, um, Rugrats, Hey Arnold. Um,
Hmm.
I just loved it.
Rugrats.
So
I remember when that Rugrats all growed up thing happened. I was like, oh my god, they're adults now. This is crazy. That was
it was
wild.
wild. I didn't like that. I didn't like
Mm.
that transition, if you will. I just was like, I understood why they did it, but I was like, I'm not a fan of this next step. um,
Right. Yeah.
right.
Right. When I was younger, I used to be into like stuff like Tom and Jerry. I used to watch a lot of
Mm,
older cartoons too, like Scooby Doo. I was super into Scooby Doo. I was super
ooh,
into like Quick Draw McGraw, like stuff on like all like why am I blanking on what the name of that channel was? They used to show all the older cartoons.
Cartoon Network.
No, they
Oh,
showed like the older cartoons. It was like a lot of older ones. I feel like it was a separate channel, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they show a lot of older cartoons, and yeah, so like the Flintstones, the Jetsons, right?
Yeah.
Like I was heavy into all that stuff at a younger age, and then when I was in like my pre-teens and kind of teenage years, I was mostly watching stuff like Recess, and I used to love Recess.
I loved that too. Oh my gosh, I
Right?
totally blanked on Recess. I loved that
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
That show had me laughing so hard, man. There are certain moments where I remember when they had that fort and King Bob stole it from him, and he was like, "I christen you SS Sub," and I just started crying. I was like, dude, King Bob and him got like no type of creativity. You know what I'm saying? Like
None.
it was hilarious. But yeah, I used to get a lot of those kind of shows when I was younger. Oh, hold on. I can't hear you now. Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? You got some work to do now. No, I can't hear you yet. Scooby Dooby Doo. Oh, I think it's doing that thing that it was doing earlier when yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. Wait, I can keep talking?
Can you hear me now?
No. I now, yeah. And it's like yes, no, yes, no. Absolutely. Scooby Dooby Doo. Yeah, yeah. No problem. You got this Scooby Doo song in my head now. We got some work to do now. And Scooby Dooby Doo. Where are you? Nah, this is great. All right, we back from that little commercial break real quick.
Yeah.
We was talking about recess. I think in my SS sub moment,
Yeah.
like uh, but look, outside of those shows that you named, like what were some of your favorite Disney movies? Because you you had spoke to that as well. But what were some of your favorites growing up?
I loved Little Mermaid. I loved that
Oh my
movie. I loved what? What?
Every time, no, it's just,
What? Oh
I was like,
god.
no, it's not you. It's just every time that I think about that movie now, because that was my mom's favorite one. That was her favorite Disney movie, and I just remember she calling me after she saw the trailer for the live action version,
Oh.
and she's like, "Yo, have you seen the trailer for the Little Mermaid?" I was like, "Yeah." And she just goes, "Black?" I was like,
Your mom is so real. Like,
No, she was like, and she is black, but she was like, black? She's like,
oh yeah.
no, black. She ain't got that's a true story. Oh my God, that
That's
is a
so
true
funny.
story for real. So
That's hilarious.
imagine it's hard for me to think about that movie now and not think about that moment, right? Where he's like, "Oh, it's a Little Mermaid," and I was just like, "Black?" No, I'm sorry, but we're obviously talking about the animated version, right? Yes.
Right. But did she see it? Did she see the live
No,
action? Oh no.
I don't think she did. I
Oh,
don't think
okay.
she did. I
I
don't think.
actually I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but like that's just so funny that's how you associate it now.
Yo, it's hard, man, because I laughed so hard because that was literally her response. Just that one word. And that's all. She pretty much just left it at that. It was just, what? And I was and I was laughing and I was trying to say, hey man, hey, maybe it's like for modern audiences, blah blah blah. And she was just not hearing any of it. And she was just like, and we just got off the phone. That's all she said was because I think that yeah, I don't know how I would have taken that,
Mm,
right?
yeah,
But so
right.
yes, obviously, The Little Mermaid is one of your favorites. Um, are there
Yeah.
any others that you really took to when you were younger?
Yeah, I also liked I loved Aladdin. I
Mm,
loved Sleeping Beauty, but only because of how beautiful that movie is. It's like just gorgeous, like the way that
hmm
they made it. Um,
Yeah,
and randomly, I loved Bambi, and I don't know why.
man.
I
Thumper, right?
I literally still try to think like every once in a while that will pop in my head. I'm like, why did I like that movie so much? Because it's just not. It's so
Yeah,
sad, and it's also very like just I don't know.
I
It's
always liked Thumper. I was like, the Thumper had a cool like little name,
oh yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, Aladdin is number two on my list for Disney movies. Because you didn't name the obvious answer, which was The Lion King, because that's obviously
You wait,
the best Disney movie.
let
Yeah,
me
obviously the best Disney movie.
let me let me backtrack too because I loved Lion King. Like I honestly I loved. There was only a few that I really did not like. Um,
uh,
so pretty
ooh.
much I loved like all like the yeah, Lion King. I can't believe I forgot to mention that. Lion King is an obvious answer. But
Right.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine goes Lion King, Aladdin, and then Mulan was my
Ooh,
third favorite.
Mulan. That's another
Yes.
good one. Yes.
Yeah.
Great list.
Which
Yeah.
ones didn't you like?
Which one? Oh, I did not like Cinderella. I didn't like
Mm.
Snow White. I
Mm.
um Fantasia kind of like freaked me out. Um,
Fantasia's kind of freaky.
it is. I'm Pinocchio freaked me out as well. Um,
hmm
I know there's a lot more, but I'm just like those are like the ones that like come to mind that I didn't gravitate towards for whatever reason.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Absolutely. Right. So, as you continue to grow up, how did
Yeah,
your like taste for film kind of evolve into like more or so what you like today?
that's a good question. I don't even know if I have an answer to that. Like I would just watch I would just watch um well, I would go on IMDb a lot.
hmm
And I would look at their lists And I would just basically try to like track down the movies that were on those lists, and I would watch them. And by watching those, like I just my taste for film, like it just like became more broad. And yeah, it I just I was always like kind of eclectic with what I liked as well, like, but it just became even more so as I got older from those lists, and also what people recommended too. I did not have time for like those romantic comedy movies that like everyone my age loved. I was like,
I'm not really into rom-coms either. I like there's one that I thought was dope, and I've only seen it one time. I think it had Sam Rockwell in it. I think it was called like Mr. Right or something, where he plays this spy that is trying to date this girl, and he's telling her the truth, but she thinks he's lying or something like that.
okay.
Or it was something, but he's like a hitman, and like he's trying to like cover up that he's a hitman while trying to date this girl and stuff. And it had Sam Rockwell in it. It was pretty dope. That's the only one that I liked. And I don't know if you would count Scott Pilgrim as kind of like a rom com too, because it kind of is.
In a way.
Kind of is, but it has a lot more action. But yeah, I'm not really a rom com guy either. I mean, obviously, you know.
No, yeah. No, yeah, that I just never got into those that genre, but everything else, that and horror movies. Those are like the only two. I that's where I'm like,
I love horror movies, A-Pass. Why you don't like horror movies?
For the same reason why, like, when I was a kid and my grandfather would be like, let's put on another one.
And you're like, no more.
I'm like, please, no, please, because I just had such a vivid and overactive imagination when I was a kid that I would just believe. I would just like believe that those movies were like real, and I would have like really bad nightmares about them too. So I never. I mean, I don't get like nightmares anymore, and I have seen. I wouldn't say they're horror movies, but more like psychological thriller, which are even, in my opinion, could be even more scary than just like the typical horror movie, because you're talking about the mind.
Oh yeah, talking about the mind, definitely. You know.
Yeah, but that was the root of it, and I just never wanted to dive back into that pool.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, what'd you say is your favorite like psychological thriller then?
Would Prisoners be considered one?
Yes. I had actually never seen that until a couple months ago.
Really?
And yes, that is a great movie.
Yeah.
And the ending left me he's he did that. He also did the Sicario, right? Yes. Which I have seen that. And yeah, those are fantastic movies. Fantastic movies. But Prisoners especially had a great ending. Great ending. Very, very ambiguous, but not really. That's what I think. I always love if an ending is ambiguous, but not really, kind of. Like Inception to me is ambiguous, but not really. Right. Like there's an ending, you know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't dreaming, you know what I'm saying? And in Prisoners, I really think that he found him, but just the fact that they kind of left it in the air was like, you don't know, right?
Right. Like, yeah. Whenever I hear people talk about like the ending of Inception, like, I don't get it. I'm like, it's really not that difficult to like.
Yeah. He wasn't dreaming. Like that totem never wobbled when he was dreaming, ever, throughout the entire movie. It never wobbled. It never shook. It just kept spinning. The fact that it wobbled, he wasn't dreaming. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not true. No. Yeah, Prisoners, I would say, is definitely one of my favorites. There's whenever people ask me these questions about like move, like just like, oh, what's your favorite, this, that, or the other thing, I always have issues like trying to like narrow it down. But I will go with Prisoners for that.
Well, you can give your top three. What's a couple more? You can get some honorary mentions,
uh oh my god, I'm like totally.
What about seven?
I'm gonna be honest, I have not seen that movie yet.
Oh my God. You have not seen seven. As soon as you said, I'm gonna be honest, you saw my face. I was like, she's
Yeah,
never seen seven. That is the mother of all psychological thrillers.
I know, and I still haven't. There's so many movies that I haven't seen that I need to. Like, you should see
What's
my
in the
list.
box, A-Pass? What's in the box?
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't even know about that. What's in the box, yo?
I've heard
A-Pass.
that reference so many times. I
When
have.
you find out what's in the box, you don't want to know what's in the box, A-Pass. You don't want to know what's in the box.
I don't know.
But
Yeah,
yes, you have to watch that film. That is like a must watch.
oh, I know.
Absolutely.
It's on my list. It's. I could literally. I'll show you. I'll send a picture of my list. It's like extensive.
It's probably like a scroll,
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
look, we're gonna do a follow up to this, and you better have watched that movie by the time that we do our follow up.
I know. There's so many. There's so many. I
You gotta
will
know what's in the
definitely
box.
try. Yeah. It has to be on Netflix, right? It has to be.
It's somewhere.
It has
Yo, I will rent it for you if that's the case. I don't care. I will rent it for you on Amazon or something. Trust
I
me.
appreciate it. Yeah. I will watch
No,
it.
that is a fantastic movie.
Mm.
You you spoke about Denny earlier. Who are some of your favorite directors that are working in this modern era?
Denny's definitely up there. Christopher Nolan, Zack Snyder.
Mm,
Um,
mm. They're all friends. Crazy, right? Jesus.
it's crazy, but it makes sense. It makes
It does.
total sense to me. But Martin Scorsese. I
Mm,
just um
go.
like I even like the movies that he's made that I don't really like vibe with, I totally see the artistry in them. It's like
Absolutely.
he's a master. He just is.
Absolutely.
I love Antoine Fuqua.
Fuqua.
Yes.
Yes.
I love his stuff. Ooh, like I could keep going, but like it's just like those are like definitely the ones that like pop up. Like anytime I see
Right.
a movie with their name attached, I'm gonna watch it. So
Mhm.
yeah.
For sure. Look, it's been no secret that you've been like a very, very big fan of and like a very open vocal supporter of the boss man, you know what I'm saying, Zack Snyder, you know what I'm saying? Can you speak a little bit about coming in contact with his films and why they just kind of resonated so much with you?
Oh yeah. Um the first movie I've seen that he did was Man of Steel.
Mm,
And that just really like I don't know, like just everything about it I just loved it. So
mm,
I never quite understood why people made such a big deal out of things that were just like I could see where he was going with, even before I found out that he was going for like the Campbell like hero's journey of it
mm,
all. But like I could see like it's his literally the first day as Superman. So he's gonna make
yeah,
some major mistakes. Like I
yeah.
but after that,
Kid just got the suit. Just got the suit. You know what I'm saying? And everybody like, you know.
Exactly. That's the other thing. Like everyone wants to ignore the fact that he just literally put on the suit. Like I don't. But yeah, one of my brothers, he's the one that like introduced me to Zack's other works as well, like Watchmen and 300, and my brother isn't like the biggest fan of Sucker Punch, but I watched Sucker Punch, and yeah, like after that, I was just like, I want to see where this like I could. This guy is a visionary. I want to see what he does. So yeah, that's basically my journey.
Mm-hmm. Once you had got kind of caught up with his stuff, had you kind of felt like you were missing out on some of the earlier stuff when you hadn't seen it, or did you more or less feel like you're glad that you saw it when you did?
I'm more or less like glad that I got to watch them when I did, because when they did come out, I was a little bit on the on the young side of things.
Oh yeah, right.
I like there's no way I could have seen like Watchmen and totally like understood it. Like
Right.
there's no way. I just would have been like,
You
what if
watching what Ozymandias is doing and all that, right? Like,
yeah, even 300, like no, I just would have been I would have been like fascinated with it visually, but like I just everything else would have been like over my head. So yeah, I'm definitely happy that I got to see them when I did, because I was able to understand it. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can you talk a little bit about when you kind of joined this online community and what that was like for you, and just what that's kind of done for you personally? Because we've been seeing you here for quite some time and you've been rocking out. So can you kind of speak to your journey with that whole aspect of things?
oh yeah. I found well, it was actually I after Justice League came out, I totally was just like really like pissed off just in general about like what they were doing with DC, and I never really blamed Zack. I didn't blame him, because as soon as I heard Joss Whedon was like involved, I was like, this is gonna be horrendous. I just know it. I don't care if they're friends.
Drank the Kool-Aid. I actually drank the Kool-Aid for a little bit. I was like, yeah, he's gonna come finish it up, because I didn't believe they were gonna redo everything in 5 months. I was like, no, there's no way they're gonna redo the Justice League movie in 5 months. Not possible.
It's like any common sense person would have been like, no, like we're not, it's insanity, but they needed those bonuses. So there's
not falling for it.
No, I always had like this feeling, and that's why I'm so glad like I got to be a part of this community, because like all of us seem to be on the same page when it comes to all of this stuff. But I just knew that Marvel / Disney was messing with things. I had a feeling. I would tell people this theory of mine, and they would be like, that's just crazy. Like, why would they do that? And I'm like, they have every reason to be intimidated, because they know their formula is gonna wear off relatively soon. But
she did.
Which is why people are saying superhero fatigue. But I don't know where I was going with that. What was I going to say? The community. So I took a break from DC after Justice League, and then my brother found out about Release the Snyder Cut, and then told me about it
the first time I remember him saying it to me was like around that the first Snyder Con, and he showed me Zack like explaining what his version of Justice League was.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, I want to see this version. And my brother's like, right? Like there's like this whole campaign that's going on right now that's trying to like get his version out. And I was like, whoa, cool. Let me know how it goes. Cause I was just like, I didn't know. Like I didn't think it, I was just like, I hope it does. And I always had like a feeling that it would. So yeah, whenever in May of 2020.
Yep, May 20th, 2020.
Yep. That
my first day. I will never forget that day. Yeah.
I have a video. Thank God for my brother's girlfriend, because she filmed us watching the reveal. And it was on my brother's like iPad, and I could barely like freaking hear what was being said. But as soon as I saw him turn the like his phone around, or like his computer or whatever, and showed, Zack Snyder's Justice League, like I was screaming. I was like, yes. Like I was like,
I gotta see that video. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I'll definitely try and send it. It's I love it. I just love that she caught that moment.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to my brother, like, I told you it would come out. I told you it would come out. But yeah.
That moment, man. It's funny because I was at work and I was by myself because it was my first day back at work. They literally called me back because I was on furlough because of the pandemic.
Right.
And they was like, "Yup, you got to come back." And I was like, "Are you kidding?" Because I didn't mind going back to work, but don't call me back on this day. Right, like I'm like, yo, it's Man of Steel watch along, and I had the stream going at work, and it's funny, like, cause I kind of got busy and I wasn't really watching it, and then I was like, Man of Steel should be ending right about now, and I turned it back on, and I caught it probably about 2 minutes before he made the fucking announcement. And like when he said it, I was like, fuck yeah, fuck yeah. I was just like screaming at work. And everybody was like, yo, what the hell is going on, bro? Are you okay? I was like, yo, the Snyder cut is coming, baby. I was like, the Snyder cut is coming. Yo, because they all knew how like I was with the Snyder cut and all that stuff. So it was like, yo, it's coming. I was like, yes, it's coming. And yeah, that was a game-changing day at FAS. So I definitely agree and can feel that energy that you felt too.
Oh yeah. Like that's definitely a moment I will never forget. And then some like months went by. So like I want to say like December of 2020 going into 2021, I was going on YouTube more, like just like looking all this stuff up and seeing all these different content creators, not knowing what they actually were until a little bit down the line. But what'd you say?
I said none of us knew. You know? None of us knew.
But I would just like check all these different channels out, and then eventually I found Syl, and I just really I don't know, like I just dug his the way he did things, the way he presented information, and the way he was just very genuine, and he still is a very genuine person. So
absolutely.
I totally connected with that, and then I was like so happy to have found people that felt as passionate about this as me, because in my friend group, they were mostly like Marvel fans, and they just didn't get what DC was doing. Like they just was like, this is boring. This is like, I don't understand this. Like that sort of thing.
Too dark.
It's dark. It's there's no color at all. No, it's just, yeah. But I was starting to listen to him, and then like I remember the stream whenever he was like, I saw the Snyder cut, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe he saw it like before everybody else.
Right.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, I'm so jealous. But then whenever it came out and it dropped, that's another moment I will never forget. Just like that night, and getting like a few hours of sleep before it dropped, and then having my alarm go off, and then I ran out, and my poor dog was so confused because he was just like, we're supposed to be sleeping right now. Why are we up? And why are you freaking out? But yeah, so my brother and I were watching it, and we went like all the way through, and then when it ended, we were both just like, oh my god. Oh my god, like we need to watch it again. So we watched it another time. And then we showed our parents as well, like the same, like a few, like I think we took a break to like, you know, like get some rest.
Right.
But then we showed our parents, and then yeah, we were just like on this high, like as we all were.
Yeah.
You know, I can't believe that this came out, and this is like, you know, we need more of it. And I was even saying that as soon as it ended the first time, I was like, please tell me they're going to continue with this, because
absolutely,
there's so much to go off of, so many cliffhangers and all that jazz. And yeah, and then after that, you know, getting that article and all the shenanigans, but but all the WB shenanigans. But yeah, like I know I've said it before, but I just am like super grateful to have found everybody and able to have like this this outlet, and getting to know people that feel the same way. And here we are now, still pushing for it until we get it again. Right. You know?
Yeah. It's crazy because when you really look back at the genesis of a lot of our relationships, it does kind of point back to Seal being the glue that kind of brought everybody together. So that is one thing that can never be denied. Like this community that has been built here has done some very special things, and has been a very special place. That have had some special relationships cultivated here. So, absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
And going back to the Snyder Cut when it came out, we were all riding that high. Like I had a watch party here at my house. I almost got into it with one of my friends because he made me pause the movie one extra time. You know what I'm saying? No, like, cause everybody cause look, y'all don't know. Like, I've always been like this when it has come to like the Snyder Cut and Zack stuff and all that. Like, I don't just talk to y'all about it. I was talking to everybody in my personal life about this shit as well. Like everybody at work, everybody knows me to be like the Snyder Cut guy. So I was trying to tell everybody like, yo, I'm going to pause the movie one time because I knew that in between parts 4 and 5, that's when you were supposed to take the little intermission. And so I was like, yo, I'm going to pause the movie when we're supposed to pause it. So don't ask, you know what I'm saying? And here I am. We're watching the movie, and I think it was like after part 3, my friend asked me to pause it, and I was like, bro, like I told you I was gonna pause it, right? And then so I paused it. I was like, fine, so I'll just stop it here.
Yeah.
Right. And then we're watching in the end. So it's like part 5, I think, ended, and he was like, "So are you gonna pause it again?" And I was like, "Bro, like what? You asked me to like what? I gotta pause this shit twice." I like, bro, do you know how long I've been waiting for this movie? Like, are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah,
don't
like
ask me to pause this shit. Like, I was like, pause
oh wow.
you,
That would
like, bro, you can get out.
have leave right now. Yeah, like that would have tested my patience. Oh man.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like I told you that I know when I'm gonna pause it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me pause it when I pause it,
Yeah.
and that's it. You know.
Right. Right.
But nah, I take the Snyder cut dead serious. You know what I'm saying? But yo, because that was a moment, and yeah, being able to kind of have that moment and still be part of this community was very, very special. So
Oh yeah.
I can absolutely see where you're coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
When the Snyder Cut came out and we're in this like world where we're asking for more and all that, and we're dealing with these shenanigans, but there's still hope on the horizon, right?
Yeah.
And we get to the point where uh Cavill is back in Black Adam. How are you feeling like as a fan in terms of your outlook for DC when that happened?
Oh, I was so optimistic. Like I was, like
Mm-hmm.
we at that like we had every reason to trust what we were being told, like with Still
Mm-hmm.
and Mikey, like because they've been right like the whole freaking time.
Oh
So
yeah.
um yeah, like I remember going to see Black Adam, and the whole time I was just like biting at the bit because I couldn't wait to see Henry pop up.
Cavill. Right, yeah.
Yeah, I just was like, oh, when this happens, I'm gonna freak. And I was I was like the only one in my theater that cared. Like everyone was just like, like they like they didn't see like the significance. And I was like, this is freaking Superman showing up. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand why you're all just sitting there like it's like like freaking Peacemaker or some shit. Like it's like no, like I was like,
He said not Peacemaker.
yeah. But yeah, I was so optimistic, and I I couldn't see like I couldn't wait to see like the reception and the reaction from everybody as well, and like seeing what the next step was gonna be in terms of announcements. And then yeah, the rug got pulled from under us. So
Yeah, I was just gonna go into that, right?
yeah.
Because could you juxtapose how you felt when um Cavill was in Black Adam versus how you felt when it was announced that he would no longer be coming back as Superman and that we're going to be getting this reboot?
Okay, so um as soon as I heard that James Gunn was gonna be like the co-head, I was trying to give him a chance. Because like I've always been someone that's like I don't know, like I just have like a sense about people, and I knew that this dude was gonna mess everything up. I just knew it. And
Hey, she knew about Joss Whedon. She knew about James.
these damn Marvel directors just coming
She's
in
like, yeah. Hey,
like
but yo, that's so funny when you look back, right? Because it was 2 Marvel directors that came over there and did the most damage. Facts.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, but I was genuinely trying to give him a chance because I was like, he has one shot, and if he blows it, I'm done. Like I'm gonna go off about this guy.
I was trying to give him a chance too. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, I think we all were, I think we all were trying to, even if it wasn't like a natural thing. But yeah, when that happened, because I wasn't on Twitter at that point. So
No, you weren't.
so I had no idea what was going on. And I remember I was getting ready to like, hit the hay because I had to get up for work the next day. And my brother called me and he was like, "Did you hear the news?" And I was like, "What?" And then he told me and I was like, "You've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, no, are you serious?" And he was like, Go look online right now." And instead of going online, I looked on YouTube because I was like, if this happened, it's gonna be having a stream about it. So I saw it and I started to watch it, and I think at that point you were on there, and like Marcus.
Yeah, I remember I was going off. I was going off, yo. That was, yo.
Like I remember it was like a huge panel, and
I
you
was
were
in the car too. I think I was in the car, like
yeah.
going
I'm pretty sure that's when I came in. It was whenever you were going off because I was just like, yes, go off. And then as everyone was giving like, their opinions and venting their frustration and their disappointment and everything, I did start to cry. I just was like, I was feeling so much anger and so much disappointment, and just I was like, I can't believe that this is even happening. Like, because in a way, when you think about Justice League, that was like the first knife in the back when you think about it, because it was like they totally disrespected not only like the fans and obviously like Zack and the cast, but it was just like it felt like Henry and Ben and Ray and Ezra were all done at that point because we didn't see them again.
Yeah.
And I was like having some like glimmer of hope with Wonder Woman 1984, and then that quickly got squashed after I watched it. But it was
right, yeah.
It was but I just was like, I can't believe that this felt like it was happening all over again, because like in a way they did secretly try to like push them all to the corner and like try to make the general audience and the fans forget, which is a stupid, like no one's gonna forget that unless they're really just not in tune or paying attention. So
absolutely,
I just again, just like I felt like another stab in the back, and I did feel like that toxicity like consuming.
Rising. Like, do it.
Yeah, like I had freaking Sidious on my shoulder, like
the tragedy of Darth Plagueis. You just hear him talking in your ear, right?
For sure.
Right?
For sure. Yeah, and yeah.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, I just felt it. I felt it all like brewing, and I remember like every stream after that, my first response in the chat was "Fuck James Gunn, fire James Gunn." Like I'm done.
Right. Everybody.
I'm over this. Like I've been over this dude. I'm even more so over him. And then I saw your stream. Like I don't remember how long after.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks. It was about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks after that it happened.
That makes that definitely makes sense. And I was a part of the replay crew for that because with the time difference, I just but I was watching it, and then I was like hearing you out, and I was like, this makes total sense to me. I want to be a part of this. Like I want to see this story like completed. That's like just like all Gunn can do whatever the hell he wants as long as we get a conclusion. Like that's all I need. And if we get anything more in terms of, like the Batfleck movie or like Man of Steel 2, like that would be amazing. But like I'm just gonna be like, if it's just the conclusion, I'm gonna be good. And yeah, so then after that, I was like, I feel hope again. I don't feel as angry, as toxic. I wasn't stewing in toxicity as I was. But yeah, I just wanted to help out any way that I could. And then I joined the social media back alley of scum and bullying.
Of Twitter. No, I was actually just about to go into that because like you weren't even on Twitter before this thing started, and you actually dove into Twitter kind of head first to help with this sale thing. And
yeah.
Can you speak a little bit about like why that happened, or like what really sparked you to want to help in that manner?
I felt very galvanized by your stream. I'm gonna be like, like I was like, I need to, if this is the only way that I can help out, then I'm gonna do that. And I mean, there was a point where I was like, do I really want to go on this app? Because I just know that it's, I just know. But I was like, whatever, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. So I did it. And I remember making that first post and like tagging you and Leon and, so I just was like, I'm gonna do this and help out any way that I can. So
that was like such a monumental moment because you were one of the first people that we knew that really did something like that. Like we knew that, created another social media handle to come on here and, to join a platform to help push the sale thing. So that was obviously a huge moment for us, and it really showed that this idea was galvanizing people. And, I just wanted to kind of once again thank you for that, because you may say that, we galvanized you, but no, like when you did that, things like that galvanized us to be able to keep going. And it shows us that these words are reaching people, because I've said this so many times, like I could have went out there and said that hashtag, and if you guys didn't believe in it, it would have just been another Tuesday. Right? And it could have came and went, and we would have just, you know what I'm saying? Like would have probably just been trying to do other things, or, maybe still trying to yell and shake our fists at Warner Brothers. Who knows? Right?
Into the void.
Right. So literally, as we saw with this 214 day, right?
Right.
But no, like we honestly can only say that we've done these things because of the support of people like you. And so when you guys do these things, even though it may seem like it's something small, like those things really do keep us going, and it pushes us forward and makes us want to keep doing more. And I also remember there was a time where I wasn't on social media that much. I was actually like very, very sick, and it was for like a while. And every time that I poked my head into Twitter, I would just see like so many of your posts, and I was just like, man, like it really resonated with me. And so you guys may think that this is just like a one-way thing, but no, it's really a harmonious thing where you guys pour back into us just as much as we try to pour into you guys. So I wanted to thank you for that right now because there has been several things that you've done personally that have really allowed me to kind of keep hope and to put a smile on my face. And you've been a wonderful ambassador for this movement and for this community in general, APAS. And just thank you for being who you are and for doing the things that you've done.
I'm like speechless. Thank you, honestly. Thank you. Yeah. I just want to do whatever I can, like I said. So I'm glad that I've been able to help you guys, because I know it hasn't been easy, and I don't even know the full story, but I know it hasn't been easy for you guys. So anything that I can do, I want to do it, so.
For sure. Well, for sure. Look, before we start wrapping up, right? If you could have your dream project list that goes over the net.
I would. Well, yeah, JL 2 and 3. That's like the top of the list, and then and then the Batfleck movie, Man of Steel 2, The Haircut, and even like a Wonder Woman 3, because I think Wonder Woman needs. I mean, I think she was redeemed in the Snyder cut, but in terms of like a solo project, she needs to be redeemed. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if this is like so out of the realm of possibility, but if we're just going to like my dream slate, I would love to actually see like Flashpoint, like the story, like the actual, like the way that Zack wanted to do it.
Right? Yo, yeah. Here's the thing. I just had a thought. If they do get the rights to Zack's stuff, and Zack could do a Wonder Woman movie that would be in the present, because it could be called Zack Snyder's Wonder Woman. Right? Because it could follow off. Because look, Wonder Woman 3 was supposed to be a modern day project anyway.
Right.
Wonder Woman leaves off in the Snyder cut about to go back home to Themyscira anyway, which was what the third movie was going to be about. So you could totally just title it Zack Snyder's Wonder Woman or something. You know what I'm saying? And then like,
yeah,
you try to pull that off. Man, that's wild. Right. But yeah, I think that there's so much potential here. Should Netflix choose to go that route, they really could flesh out this entire universe and like have a final run of these films before doing something like a Flashpoint, which would reboot everything.
Oh right? Yeah, definitely. Oh, I also forgot like a cyborg, like a solo cyborg. I would love to see that too. Like, I mean, basically the slate that we were given in 2016.
And the slate we were supposed to get.
I mean, basically like, that.
Pretty much what we were promised in 2016. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can just get that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Right? That, honestly, that would be my dream slate, with the exclusion of baseball cap man's
ball cap.
His projects.
Those would be good old ball cap.
Yeah.
Good old ball cap. Hey, pass. Look. As we kind of start wrapping up,
Yeah.
what are your final thoughts on all this? What would you like to say to this community, and just everyone, as we kind of start to close out?
Just like we got to keep pushing forward, keep pressing on, and stay the course. And yeah, just like I want to also thank everybody for giving what they can to this campaign, because it honestly, any little bit helps. And yeah, we just got to keep doing that until we reach that finish line, which I think we will, most definitely. So
Absolutely. I've always said that we only ask that you give whatever you can.
right.
If it's time with cartoons and cereal, that's cool. If it's tweets, that's cool, right? Whatever you can give, we ask that you just give that. You know what I'm saying? No more and no less, right? I'm never gonna be trying to lord over. Where are you guys at? We need more tweets on the timeline. Like, no. Or I don't think I've done that, right, A-Pass? You know what I'm saying?
You've done the exact opposite of that. Like, and that's why I always find it so absurd when I see people like trying to insinuate that. I'm just like, no. Like that's how I know that you're just an ignorant bot that doesn't know what is up and what is down at this point. But yeah, no, you definitely haven't done that. No.
No. And we won't even care if you mix the hashtags. We have never tripped. I've continued to tell people, hey, find me one tweet where I got on anybody about mixing the hashtags, but they still can't pull it up, A-Pass. They still can't pull it up. I'm like, I mean, I might say something on a stream, right? Be like, hey, why y'all still doing that? You know what I'm saying? But it's not never going to be on the timeline. Lord, no people, you tweeted this. And like, nah, we don't care.
No. But, and that's the other thing. It's like, that's why, I mean, I understand why they do it, because it's to deter what the main thing is by doing things like that. But at the same time, it's just like if you're common sense, like driven and thinking kind of a person, like that the ROEs make sense. That just being positive in general in life, not just with this, but just in general, like it gets you way farther than being than yelling at the wall at this point. So
the fact that people could make it a bad thing, that we ask people to be positive, not mix hashtags, and to not tag people from WBD, right? That's just, hey, it's beyond me. But look, any final messages to the haters? You know what I'm saying? Let them know, hey, let the haters know. Hey, we having fun tonight. You know what I'm saying? What's your final message to the haters, A-Pass?
Keep trying. It'll never work.
Straight like that. You know what I'm saying? And what you got coming up that you want to let the people know about? Mind you, this is going out like next week. So.
Oh, next week. Oh, be on the lookout for another I Don't Get It. I'm sure it's gonna happen towards the end of the month at some point. So yeah, that's about it for now.
Absolutely. A-Pass, thank you so much for coming on to Sit Down with Skiiwalker and for allowing me to give you some of your flowers, right? Which is well deserved. You have been a trooper and have been one of our most wonderful people that's been pushing this thing forward. So much love and appreciation to you, A-Pass. And I couldn't thank you enough for your efforts.
Thank you for having me. I always have such a blast talking with you. So,
All right. Hey,
yeah.
y'all. And she thought this talk wasn't going to go well. Just so you guys know. And she was like, I'm just not very interesting. And y'all see what happened, right? Y'all still here. You know what I'm saying? Hour and 20 minutes in, right? Still here having a good time. So,
They should know this by now, though. They should. I'm just very much like a downplaying kind of person. So, yeah.
And now she's turning red. All right, y'all. We about to get out of here. We gonna get at y'all next time. It's your boy Skiiwalker signing out with A-Pass. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.
Yeah.